Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. Andre here. Welcome to another part of our 5-part tour of Egypt. When you think of ancient Egypt, what color comes to mind? It's probably like a sandy brownish color. I mean, that makes sense. It's in the middle of the desert. But deep inside the desert, there's one place where they buried noblemen, kings, queens, and they specifically designed this location to protect it from the elements so that the elaborate artwork inside each one of those tombs would be protected. I mean, that and, to keep out all the grave robbers.
By the time of the 18th dynasty, tombs had been despoiled to an alarming extent. The kings no longer desired to be buried in a conspicuous place. Deep in the valley of the tombs of the kings, they hoped to remain undisturbed throughout eternity.
First up was the tomb of Ramses VI. Ramses VI was the son of Ramses III, younger brother to Ramses IV, and uncle to Ramses V. 6 only became king when 5 died, and in like a pretty jerk move, ordered all of the priests to retrofit 5's tomb to be his. And then they just told him to figure out something else for Ramses V. Yeah, nice guy. So I just came out of the tomb of Ramses VI, and the thing that really struck me is the degree to which all of the writing and all of the imagery is colored. We've seen all these different temples and ruins that had a lot of intricate inscriptions, but they were all bare and devoid of color. Color had all worn off over the years, but you walk into somewhere like this where such vibrant blues and yellows and reds, it really makes you wonder what it is you're missing out on when you see those other temples and ruins in different locations. You're thinking that there's a whole spectrum of what they were trying to communicate with the art that we just don't have the capacity for. Missing out on that really makes me realize and wonder what it is that we're missing. Is there anything that they were trying to communicate through the use of color that we now just completely don't have the capacity for understanding? So you can only imagine what kind of cultural memory and historical memory would be lost if that had been open to the elements. You don't even have to imagine it, because you can go look at any of the other outdoor tombs or ruins and you can see exactly what is missing. The most famous tomb at the Valley of the Kings is probably also the smallest one.
It consists of 4 rooms: the antechamber, the burial chamber, the treasury, and the annex.
Tuts' tomb was actually buried under another tomb, which is probably why it's so well preserved. And when we finally found it and opened it, there were 5,000 artifacts inside, each of which was moved to the Egyptian Museum. So when you actually go inside, there's a beautiful mural and really not much else. It's like a really nice studio apartment. So I just came out of King Tut's tomb, and when you've gone through a bunch of the other tombs throughout the day, and then you come upon this one, first thing you notice immediately is that it's much smaller. There's much less grandeur associated with it, even though he's probably one of the best known, if not the best known, pharaoh in all of Egyptian history. The boy king, he only ruled for 10 years and was either died of infection from a broken leg or from an injury to the back of the head as a result of a blow from one of his priests. So basically it was either an accident or a murder. And because of his abrupt, unexpected demise, they didn't have time to really build out an elaborate tomb. The thing that's interesting about this space is just how small it was, but how famous it's become in contrast. Everyone wants to see King Tut's tomb. You have to pay extra to be able to see it. And yet when you get in there, it's quite small, not as elaborate as you would think. But really thinking about how well preserved the actual tomb itself was and its contents were, because it took so long to find, because it was actually underneath another tomb, really I think is what makes it so famous, because it's so well preserved relative to the other ones.
Here's the thing about the Valley of the Kings. Each one of the tombs is so beautifully decorated and intricately painted that after you go through 2 or 3 of them, they kind of start to blend together. I mean, how many murals can you possibly see before you kind of forget which one went with which one?
So we're just about wrapped up here. We're getting ready to head back, having spent the morning at the Valley of the Kings. It really makes you wonder what it is exactly that we have not yet found. We know so much about the history of this place. We know so much about the history of this civilization, but tomorrow we could find Tomb 66 or 67 and just completely reshape our understanding of this location. Incredibly thankful for the opportunity to be here and just take in not only the tombs and the culture, but also the landscape. Just to be here among the rocks and the sand and the hills and understand that this is where so much of history has happened and taken place, and so much history has ended here. It's just...
The drive up to the Temple of Hatshepsut was probably the single most surprising moment of the entire cruise, because you're driving up and you see this massive building and you can't figure out, did they carve this out of the rock? Did they bring bricks in and build it? Or did they do both? It's really like something straight out of a movie. But I guess kind of all of this stuff is stuff straight out of a movie.
The Temple of Hatshepsut reaps the full benefit of its dramatic natural setting.
We're here at the Temple of Hatshepsut, which I think I'm pronouncing right, maybe not. And it's really difficult to convey just the sheer scale of this place. I think of all of the places we've seen in terms of just general scale and grandeur, this is the only thing that could rival the pyramids. I mean, it is cut and built directly into the side of this mountain, and it's just a scale that's absolutely phenomenal. The intricacy of the sculptures, but then just the sheer size and scale of what you're dealing with as a structure, it's insane.
To be honest, I really had absolutely no idea what to expect from this entire day. Touring around the Valley of the Kings and seeing the Temple of Hatshepsut, it just became so clear that while the pyramids are these famous, massive, colossal structures, there's so much more to see throughout the country. We really had no idea what we were getting into. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. There are 4 other parts to our Egypt adventure, so make sure you check those out. In the meantime, hit the like button, show me some love, hit the subscribe button because there are new videos coming every week, and I will see you, no, you will see me in the next video.